So welcome to today's class, Reference USA for your job search. My name is Jennifer, and our chat facilitator is Trish, and also we have Hannah helping us on the side there. Okay, in this class, we are going to look at the powerful tools in Reference USA. I am going to show you the interface with Indeed.com. And then I'm going to show you how to create a list of companies you can target for your job search. So let's get going. Okay, so first, we are going to come here to the library's main page, which is planolibrary.org. And we're going to come up here to the top of the page where it says Learn. We're going to click on that. Okay, we're going to let that load for a sec there. And then we're going to move down the page a little bit. And the first icon we can click on here is Research and Learn. So we're going to click on that. Okay, and then we're going to let that load. Sorry, it takes a little bit of time. And then we're going to come down here to the top. We have changed these up a little bit maybe since the last time you came to one of our classes. And we do have them separated into subjects. Our second subject here is business, and that's where we'll have the Reference USA. So we're going to click on business. Now, I'm going to click on business, on Reference USA. But when you come to this page next time, it's probably going to actually have a different name. They very recently changed their name to Data Axle Reference Solutions. So this icon will look a little bit different, and there will be a different name to it, but it will still be the same product. I just want to let you know that so you're not surprised. Now, I'm probably going to still refer to it as Reference USA in this class because it did just change, and I just found that out today. So what you will do is you'll click on this, and the first thing that will come up will be their terms and conditions. You will have to agree to their terms and conditions and click on continue in order to use this. And then what will come up will be the login screen. On this screen, you will put in your library card number, your full number, no spaces. If you don't have a library card, you can get one on the I'm sorry, I'm having somebody saying, am I on mute? I am not muted. Can everyone hear me? Trish, can you let me know if people can hear me? Or let us know if you can hear me. We can hear you. Okay, so people are telling me that they can hear me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And so Hannah, maybe Hannah can go and help the person who's asking if they are having trouble. And so Hannah will help you. She'll be there in just a sec to help. Okay, so from this screen, this is where you'll put in your library card number. If you don't have a library card, please contact the library. We can see about getting you a library card. Okay, and once you get through that screen, it'll bring you over here, which used to be called Reference USA, is now called Data Axle Reference Solutions. Okay, and at this point, you have a couple of choices. You can go directly into the database you want to use, or you can come down here to the bottom of the page and create an account. Now, you may decide you want to create an account because it will let you save your searches. And then you can go back and use those searches later or tweak them to fit your needs better. So to do that, you will need to go here to the register icon. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, and it will bring you to the create an account screen, which is very typical. You'll put in your address, you'll create a password and confirm it and put that information in, and you'll just create the account. And it can be whatever you want it to be. I am actually going to go up here to sign in because I already have an account. And let me put that in. Ooh, let's type that right. Okay, I can have it remember me if I want to. I don't. but I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And that, if you do that, it will bring you here to this page. Now, this page looks quite different from that first page, but do know that all of the databases are here. You have all the finding business databases, which gives you all of those. You can find a consumer, which is really not applicable in this class. Find a job, that is also here. Okay, so everything is here, it just looks a little bit different. Now I'm going to go ahead and sign out because I'm going to assume you have not done this. So I'm going to sign out, and that'll bring me back here. And we're actually going to use this section for this class for the most part. Okay. Let's see. What we're going to do now is we are going to go into U.S. jobs and internships. So I'm going to click on that. Okay. So sometimes you just want to jump right in and look for a job. I totally get that. So we're just going to do this quick search here. And we're going to say that we want a job in finance. Okay. Now, if you notice, as I type, it brings up a list of different choices. We're going to do a very general search. And we're just going to say we want to work in the finance field. This is the city of Plano class. So we are going to say that we want to work in Plano, Texas. And that also will bring up a list, and we're going to pick that. And we're going to view the results here on the side. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we get a nice little list. Up here at the top, you can see that we got 592 results. That's a little much. Generally, when you're searching for a job, you're going to be a little bit more specific than just finance. You're going to be an analyst, you're going to be whatever in finance. But we just did a general search, and that's fine. But this is what it will give you. It'll give you a nice list. Unfortunately, there does not seem to be a way to put this in any order. You cannot click on like job title or company name or date posted. So it's not quite up to what we were hoping for, but that's okay. We got something. And let's say we decided we want to go be an analyst with T-Mobile, and that's up in Frisco. Sounds great. Let's click on that. Actually, no, wait, we had the finance manager. That's the one I wanted. That's in Plano. So we're going to click on that. And basically, it would give you a nice list of what this job is about, basically a job description. In this case, it did give salary, so that's nice, and benefits and job description and maybe other things. If you click on this apply now, it will bring up something else. In this case, it brought up a pop-up screen. So we're going to cancel that. A lot of times it will bring up the page, website for the company. And then you'll have to go find the job at that company site if it didn't pop up originally. And you'll basically apply through that company's website. That's how this is basically set up. So that's fine. So we're going to close out of that one. We're going to come back here. Okay, so this is okay. But let's say you want to be a little bit more specific. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a new search. And we're actually going to go into advanced search here. And again, let's see, what do we want to look for now? Okay, in advanced search, we decide, okay, we're actually doing programming, computer programming. So we're going to look up programming, and we decide we're going to look for that. We could do exact phrases. I generally do keyword searches and then get more detailed as I go on. Now, I could look for a specific company if I wanted to. It will narrow your search down. So if you're still in the broad phase of looking for a job, you don't want to do that. You do want to show the types of jobs. So let's bring that down. And we want to look for a full-time job. We could do other things, but in this case, we want a full-time job. I generally don't do a salary estimate because that would also narrow down what the results will be. So we want to leave it as broad as possible in this case. We can choose within 25 miles. That's what it defaults to. So you just have to think about how far you want to drive for these. You could choose a shorter amount. We're going to leave it at 25. And we're again going to say Plano, Texas, because that's where we are. And I love this option, the age of the jobs published. You can say within the last 7 days, you can say since yesterday, like if you come to this site every day, then you can just say since yesterday, is there anything new? We haven't looked for anything, so we're gonna say anytime, and we're gonna review the results again. Okay, this time for programming, we got 1,000 results. Again, we can't really put it in order, unfortunately, so we would the first time have to look through everything and see if we find something. So that's basically how we use that. Okay, so somebody's asking, do the employers post positions or does someone from the Plano Library import them? No, this is through Indeed.com. So Indeed.com is responsible for posting these jobs. And so we are good there. Yeah, so jobs by Indeed. And you can actually see that, let me go back. I'm gonna go back to reference solutions. And if you click on more information, it gives you a nice little description over here if you wanna know about where things come from. Reference solution combines with Indeed.com for a really nice tool to use. Okay.
Jennifer, a quick question. They're asking if the salary information is always provided in the job listing.
Unfortunately, it is not always provided. I was really kind of happy to see that one there. It's just what the company itself will provide. Okay.
And now someone's asking, how do you eliminate the non-relevant jobs from the search?
Okay. Well, basically what you're going to do is, like, if you're doing like the finance one, if you notice, it gave you different choices, like if you are a financial analyst or you're just an advisor, if you're a financial advisor or if you're a director, you probably want to be a little bit more specific in your search. Or you can say exact phrases, like if you're, I'm a librarian, so if I put librarian in there, I might look for the exact phrase of reference because I tend to do reference librarianship, and that's basically how you would narrow it down a little bit more. And if you also know your salary range, like kind of what you're looking for, like if a financial advisor gets paid anywhere from about 25,000 on up to 100,000, and they generally don't go above that, that's another way to narrow it down. And then you can try looking at your results that way. So, like, I don't know if I'm going to get anything. I haven't tried this one before. I didn't get anything. So I probably went too low on that for the salary, but that's kind of how I would generally narrow it down. I hope that helps.
Another quick question, Jennifer. They're asking, what would be the advantage in using this resource instead of going directly to Indeed.com?
That is a choice, and you might go directly to Indeed.com. I do not generally come through this way and do it this way. Let me show you another way to do it. Thank you for that. Okay, let's go back to reference solutions. What I would actually do is I would actually go here to U.S. businesses, and I would create a targeted list for the companies you want to look for. Like, you probably have a general idea of the type of companies you want to look for. So let me show you this. Hold on a sec here. Okay, so in this first scenario, let's say you decide you kind of want to work for Kroger. Okay, so you can put in their name and you can say, okay, so I want to work for Kroger. I want to work in Texas. I know this. I kind of want to work in Plano, I think, or somewhere around here. We'll see. So we can view these results and do this very quick search here in the US databases. Okay, so I have 640 results because this is all of Texas. So it's like, I didn't get that quite right. So I need to revise my search. I'm going to go back. Now, y'all saw that I went into the US databases. So this is a little bit of a different database than the Indeed.com, the US jobs. So I'm here in Kroger. I said Texas. I think I now need to say Plano because I decided I really want to work in Plano. So I'm going to view those results. Okay, this is much more manageable. I have 17 results for Kroger in Plano, Texas. So I could go through and decide which one of these I wanted to work for. Let's say I've decided, okay, I want to look at the one on Custer and see what they have. I'm going to open up Kroger. And this is where it gets a lot more interesting. We've got the location information at the top here, your very general information, and it gives you the correct website you want to go to for that Kroger, for Kroger in general. But right here, we've got Indeed.com also with Kroger, the company. And so this is another way to use that Indeed website through Reference USA or Data Axle, what it's called now. And so this is one for Plano right at the beginning. They do have some for the other ones in the general area. That's kind of what's nice. So if you decide you liked this job, you would click on that, and it would be bring you over here again to where it would show you the job descriptions. Okay. General job description. And this is where you would apply on the company site. Usually it comes up where apply on a company site, and it'll pop you into a new window, and you'll go through there. We're not going to do that. Okay, and we're going to go back. Sorry. So that is one way. Let me show you what else is available on this screen. So you could do the job listings there. Now, what all is this giving you? It's giving you an industry profile, so you know what type of company Kroger is, and generally will give you a business profile, tells you a little bit about the company. So this is where you're going to come and research your company once you do get an interview. So this is good to know. You've got your business demographics. Maybe this is, you want to work for a company that has a large sales volume, so you can see what their sales volume is. Maybe you want to know who their management is there. So in this case, it gives you a nice little management directory and who the managers are. And in this case, who sales are. It will tell you some of the company news, but do be aware that that company news is probably going to be for their whole company, not just for this one store, if it's a multi-store company or multi-location company. Here's your business expenditures. If you want to work for a company that has a large advertising budget or one that has a large legal budget, that's going to give you a general idea here. This will give you their business history if you want to see that. This is also where it gets interesting. If you want to work for a company that is like Kroger, you can come here to the competitors report. And over here on the side, you can expand any of these or collapse them. Okay, so this is a good competitors report. It's a list of companies in the general area that are just like Kroger. So you could go to all these different companies and see if they have jobs too, because you might be able to find one very similar to it. Okay. Now, if you just want to work in that general area, you can look at nearby businesses, but it's not quite as effective as using that competitors report that you see. Okay, so if you come down here to the bottom, you can go back to your original screen, or you can do a new search. We're going to do a new search because I'm going to show you one of the most powerful tools in Reference USA, and that is the advanced search. Okay, so basically what Reference USA does is they look at all the companies in the United States, they go out, they call them up, and they try to verify all their information. And they let us know. These are all the companies that we have verified. This is all the companies that we know of but have not yet verified. So we had 15 million that they had verified, and they have 59 million between the verified and unverified. So your job in your job search is to come into this database and say, okay, This is all of my criteria, and I'm going to narrow these companies down to this nice little list of companies that I want to target based on the different criteria here on the left. Okay, let me show you that part. Okay, we don't care what their company name is. In general, for this, for a job search list, you generally aren't going to care what the executive names or ethnicities or any of that is. What you are probably going to care about is the business type. So we're going to click on that. Okay, we now are going to look for a company dealing with healthcare. So we are going to type in healthcare. Okay, and then I'm going to do search. Okay, if you notice, I did not type healthcare right. So lucky for me, this is a very generous program, and it did correct me on that. But if you don't get the right results or the results you were expecting, do make sure that what you are spelling is correct. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm searching the SIC codes, Standard Industrial Classification. All the companies in the United States that have a tax ID are required to tell the government what they do and to put themselves into a category, basically. So if somebody is selling healthcare apparel, if somebody is selling healthcare products, they have to put themselves in that category, and they'll pick this number out and they'll tell the government that. So when we search for SIC codes, it's going to be very consistent across the United States. If this is confusing to you, if you'll notice up here in the blue, they've got search tips. You can click on that and it will give you a little bit more of a description of the SIC codes and what you're looking at when we talk about SIC codes. On any of these little tops, you can see search tips, and I'll give you nice little tips on how to search better. So what I did here, in this case, I said healthcare. I basically said, okay, we're going to look for healthcare apparel. I want to work for a company that sells healthcare apparel or healthcare products. Great. And if you notice, as I clicked them, they come into this search box down here. So that means those are the ones that I picked. So we're looking for those two. And so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to update my count. Realize that it's 59 million. So I'm going to update the count, and we're down to 28,000. So that's great. We're on our way. Next, I'm going to say, well, I really just want to look for companies that do those two things, but just in the DFW area, just around here, because I can't travel too far. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I can either choose by city. I can do a map-based search where I actually show where on the map I want to work. Zip code. I can choose a lot of different things. In this case, I'm going to choose the metro area. Okay, so if you notice, it comes over here. So I'm going to say Texas because we're in Texas. And I don't know, I'm going to say Plano and see what we get there because I really want to just work in Plano. So I'm going to come down here. Let's see, Plano. We have Plainview, and then we have Port Lavaca. So we don't have Plano. But if you remember, I said metro area, and I kind of gave you a hint there, when I said DFW. Metro areas are, again, designated by the government, and they have designated the Dallas-Fort Worth area as our metro area. So we're going to say Dallas-Fort Worth, and it put it over here in our selected box. And again, if you're confused about that, if you come in here and you're like, I don't really get what's going on, come up here to the little search tips and click on that, and it'll give you a nice little explanation of what you're looking at and what a metro area is, metropolitan statistical area. Okay, so we've chosen Dallas-Fort Worth. We're going to update that count again. Okay, 642, that is much more reasonable. Okay, so what are we going to go to next? Let's see. We've done the geography. We could choose more. I'm not going to at this point. We could choose by phone. If area code were still as relevant as it used to be, we might choose that. and it may be relevant for your search. You're going to have to decide that. This product is also used heavily by salespeople, so they are looking for different things than maybe you would be using for a job search. Okay, so business size. Business size is pretty important to us. We want to work for a bigger company, we've decided. So we're going to click on number of employees, and we're going to come down here. And I think I want to work for a company that has at least 50 employees. So I'm not going to choose any of these first ones. I'm going to click on this one. And again, it comes into the selected area. I'm going to click on any of those that are bigger there. Okay, I'm going to update that count. Oh, down to 11. That is not enough companies. So I'm actually going to increase that and lower my expectations. There we go, 178. Okay, and you know, just kind of play with those different things to get the numbers you're looking for when you look at the count, or just whenever you're looking for any of this, just play around with it. Now, ownership might be important to you. Foreign parent, if you want to go work overseas at some point, foreign parent might be a very important thing for you. Financial data, their credit rating might be important to you. Their business expenditures might be important to you. You might want a company that spends a lot in accounting or advertising or management or whichever different one you're looking for. So we're not going to worry about that on this one. I'm going to take that off. And then we have special selections if you're looking for particular things. That probably applies a little bit more to the salespeople than it would to you for a job search. Now, this last area is really nice to know about. Okay, so you know that we've said the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but we know that we are just not going to drive over to Fort Worth. It's just a little too far, and we can't do that right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to omit a city. This is the exclusions area, and we're going to come down here to omit, and we're going to click on that, and we're going to say Texas, because we're in Texas. Okay, and we've chosen Fort Worth is just too far. There's probably other ones too, but we're going to see if that's in there. So FT, if you notice, it doesn't bring anything up. So you do have to think, am I doing the shortened version? Am I doing the long version? In this case, they like to spell out Fort. So here's all the ones, and there's Fort Worth, and we're going to say that just won't work for us. So we're omitting Fort Worth. Update count. Okay, so that did narrow it down a little bit. Okay, so once we get that, that is a list of companies that you can start targeting. Now, how do you do this? You're going to come visit your results, and you can see the 156. Just ignore this little thing underneath with email addresses. It won't have email addresses. That's kind of an ad for them. So you're not going to be able to do that very well. You can put things in order in this part of the database, or in this database, in the U.S. Businesses databases, whereas we couldn't in the other one, in the U.S. Jobs database. So if you want to put it in order by the city or state, you can. Now, we just are going to go through and look at these if we want to. Let's say we choose all of these. That's a choice. And if you notice, that popped up a number there. 0 selected, 25 records selected. And these, and I do see that somebody is asking how frequently is the data updated. So they certainly update it at least every 6 months. I do know that, and they had gotten to a point where they were updating it by every 2 weeks or so. I don't know if they still are. They have probably backed down a little bit from that, but they do update it very frequently, and they are constantly going out and trying to get the information from the various companies. Okay, so we already know if we clicked on it what we would see. But what we want to do now is we're happy with our results. And so what we want to do is we actually want to print them out or save them somehow. So let's decide that this time, the first time, we decided we want to print the results. Okay, so we had chosen 25 on this first one. For some reason, it stops putting the little check marks in, but if this is checked, then they're all checked. And so I'm going to go to the next page. I'm going to check all these, and I have 50 records selected. And I'm going to come up here to print, and we're going to click on that. Okay, so the summary detail, that is what I showed you. When I showed you Kroger and we just had that first page. Actually, let me go back. Just this basic summary information here. It's about that information for the summarized report. That's what you would get if you printed out the summary report. But we don't really want that. And if you look here, it says detailed and custom, but we can't get to them. And that's because here in the red, it's telling me that I have to limit to 25 records for detailed and custom print options. If I want to print it out, I could only do 25 records at a time. Okay, so now we know that. Let's go back. Okay, so we would have to basically uncheck and just print off these. What we're going to do instead is we're going to then look at the download records. Okay, so let's say we've got 50 of them. We're happy with this. So we decide, let's download them instead. So we can click here on download. And what we want to choose first is our file format. Now, it automatically defaults to comma delimited, and you probably just want to leave it there. You can choose Excel or Excel 2007, 2010, but if you leave it at comma delimited, it will automatically go into those products. It can also go into, if you leave it at this, it can also go into like Google Sheets and any other type of spreadsheet that you might have. Okay. Now the next step is you want to choose your level of detail. You remember the first, in the print, we had the summary. That's really not a lot. It gives you basically about 17 data fields. It's okay, but you know, we need more. And so what we could choose is detailed, but that includes all of the data, and that's a lot of data. So what you probably want to choose is the custom. And the custom here, it defaults to the 8 fields, those first few fields, but it has so many. It's just amazing. You can come here and say, well, I want to know people's professional title. Oh, sorry, I went too fast. I always do that. Okay, maybe I want to know the street it's on. Maybe I want a zip code for. There's all different types of things you can choose. Maybe I want to know the metro area. Maybe I want to know the neighborhood it's in, or the different phone number things. Maybe I want their toll-free number or their website. There's a lot of different choices I can choose. So once I've chosen what I want, in this case I have 22 fields, you're probably going to choose different ones. Then you come down here. You can email it to yourself, or you can just go ahead and download it. It will let you download up to 250 records at a time. Now, you would just click on download records, and it's going to generate it. And down here, it's going to generate an Excel spreadsheet that you can open. I can't really show you that because I'm not really set up to do that with how we have our Zoom class set up. But it's just a spreadsheet, and then you can manipulate that spreadsheet as much as you want. Let's go back. Let's say you decide, okay, I don't really download it. I don't have the space. So what I want to do instead is I want to save the search, and then they'll save it for you, which is even better. So you can come here to save search. Now we had logged out. So what you have to do is you'd have to sign in. Okay. So we would sign in, and it would pop me back over here. Now, I'm signed in, but it probably didn't save my search because it didn't ask me to label it. So that's the tricky part of this. If you save your search from here, you're going to have to sign in and then hit save search again. And it's going to ask me to label it. So in this case, I'm going to do, you know, my best list. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Okay, and I've got that saved. Yay. And I can go and pick that up again if you remember that first screen I showed you.
Jen, I have a question.
Sure.
Does the report also provide the corporate structure, business divisions, et cetera, for more advanced insight into a company? This is very useful for interview preparation.
Well, yes, it can. If you want that in there, you would have to choose that. If you remember when we went into here, you would have to choose, like, do you want industry profile? And then you'd have to choose all the different things. You could choose their business profile to come with you in your list. Let me show you our list. Let me just go back over there and show you. There we go. So this is our best list. We just did it. We had 156. So when I click on that, let's see what I get. I basically get right back to here. Does that make sense? Does that work for you? Let's see. Hopefully that works for y'all. Okay. Sorry, I know this is kind of fast. Okay. So now that you have these lists, you can target these companies. You'll take these lists and you'll go look at those companies' websites and see if they have any job openings, or use the internal link at Indeed.com, like I showed you. Or you'll use your networking skills to find people in those companies that can help land you a job there. So that's another way that these are very helpful lists. Okay, so somebody is asking, can you see parent company and then company subsidiaries? Yes, you can. Let me show you that. Actually, it's right here. If you see, we have CVS Pharmacy and up in DeSoto. So over here, you'll notice the corporate tree. This means that there is a parent company. So you were going to click on that. And this is CVS's parent company, or to that particular CVS. And you can just keep going up. And as you see, this only goes down. So this is definitely the large parent company. And they are up in Rhode Island, it looks like, and gives you information there on that company. And that's huge. The corporate sales volume. Okay. We're going to go back. And then let's say, oh, okay, so you're going to like start investigating CVS at that point. So you can actually click on this corporate tree and see all the companies underneath the CVS Health Corp. And these are all the different companies. And 14 subsidiaries, almost 12,000 branches. That is big. And it tells you if they're public, if they're private, if they're a subsidiary of a foreign parent, a branch. It just goes on and on. It is really pretty amazing. So let's say we look at Omnicare here. You can click on that. Oh, whoops. I didn't. Okay, there we go. So Omnicare, and these are all the branches of Omnicare. And that just goes on and on, displaying 26 of 144. Okay. Did y'all have other questions at this point? Okay. So y'all have some really nice lists then to take and go look for jobs at those kind of companies that you are very much interested in. It gives you a much more targeted focus to your job search, which is what I really like about using Reference USA. It can help you focus a lot better. Okay, now we do have several other sources that can help you with this next step in connecting with the companies and networking. We've had classes on these other steps that you can find through planolibrarylearns.org. And let me just type that in, which is here. I highly encourage you to go there. And you'll also find many of our classes through our website, through lynda.com. If you'll remember, we went to our Research and Learn area and we came here to Reference USA. Instead of going there, you might choose to go to lynda.com. They have a lot of really great classes on job searching, and they're really well done, and they have a lot of really good information, and they can be very helpful if it's been a while since you've done a job search. They're going to give you information on the current way to conduct a job search. I've watched several of them, and they are really very nicely done. I want to make sure you know that we have upcoming classes, that we do have a few more upcoming classes that will help you. And I'm going to go back over here to the questions, and I see that somebody's asking, can this be used to determine average salary for a specific job? And can what be used to determine the average salary? Oh, Reference USA, not that I know of. I don't know how to do that through Reference USA, no, unfortunately. If you are looking for an average salary of a specific job, I would actually recommend, let me go back over here. Have you ever looked at the Occupational Outlook Handbook? This is a great site. It's by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And if you go and look for a particular job, like finance, okay, let's just try finance analyst or something. I didn't quite do that right, and I cannot spell. But let's say we're saying financial analyst. There we go. Okay, this will give you the median salary throughout the United States, and it gives you a nice information on what they do, their work environment, how to become one, what their pay is, job outlook, state area data. It's very, very nicely done. I'd highly recommend it. Okay, so these are the classes that we have coming up in the future. I highly recommend it. Resume and design, I did take that with Bonnie, and she does an amazing job on that if you want to look at doing an updated salary and updated resume, sorry. And navigating your future, if you're kind of new to the job market, that might be nice. And of course, virtual job interviews. That would probably be amazing. I don't know, I haven't seen that yet, so I'm not entirely sure how they had that set up, but I would go to that class if I was looking for a job at this point. Okay. Now, if you have more questions, I'm going to encourage you to go to our website. Well, you'll get my email. You can always email me, but if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You can come back here to our website, which is planolibrary.org. Go to About. And here in the middle, we have Help from a Librarian. So we can click on that. If you have just a general question, one or two questions, you can do Ask a Librarian, and you can go to that link, and we'll try to answer that in a very brief manner. But if you have kind of a longer question that you think might take about 30 minutes or so, you can come here to Book a Librarian, and we'll have one-on-one help from a librarian in a virtual field. I think it looks like Zoom appointments, and you can just click on that link. Okay, does anybody have any questions at this point? So unfortunately, we're doing the typing in the chat thing. I know it's not so easy, so that's where you would do that. And if we haven't answered your question, feel free to send it to me, and I'll try to see what I can do there. I'm going to go here. And I would highly encourage you to go to our website, planolibrary.org, or to our blog, planolibrarylearns.org. And do know that you will be getting a recording of this class sent to you in a few days, usually about 2 or 3 days.
Does the library have the Digital Dallas Business Journal?
You know what? I cannot remember. I would have to look that up. I will. I'm going to capture this. Suzanne, send me an email, jennifer.s@plano.gov, and I will look that up because I am not entirely sure. I know we have it in paper format. So thank you so much for attending. I really appreciate it.